Hola, hola. My name is Ramon, cosmetic chemist, esthetician, Tretinoin user. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram and Twitter, you might not have seen my transition back onto Tretinoin has been a little rough. So this is definitely the video you want to watch if you're looking to get back on retinoids or specifically back on Tretinoin, and you want to avoid the peeling, the irritation generally associated with retinoids. This video is definitely something more of a conceptual video, so take what I'm giving you in terms of a general concept. You don't have to use the same products I use. Definitely apply them to the products that you like to use or products you already have in your skincare routine. When it comes to my nighttime routine, for daytime, I'm all about quick, lazy, as simple as possible. At nights, I indulge, I take my time. I'm all about being a little bit extra, so I do understand I'm using a lot of products in my nighttime routine. So of course, take the general concept that I'm explaining to you and apply it to products you already have and to the routine that you generally use. If you didn't watch my last Tretinoin video, I explained all of my favorite specific ingredients targeted towards acne, acne care, acne prone skin. And today's video is going to be a video on how to apply specifically Tretinoin into a nighttime routine, again, to mitigate any irritation, the general symptoms and side effects of incorporating a high strength retinoid into your skincare routine at night. Also, please pardon my voice. I'm getting over a little bit of an illness. I do know I sound congested and stuffy right now, but as you can see, I'm here in my bathrobe. It is nighttime, or as we say in Spanish, it's Mimi's time. And let's get started with my nighttime routine. As with all my videos, I'll have timestamps down below in the description box, especially if you want to get to the part of the video where I talk about my updates on Tretinoin, my Tretinoin journey thus far, and how I got Tretinoin. That part of the video is going to be done specifically in collaboration with Dermatica. I will also have my link and discount code in that part of the video as well. And as always, all the products I mentioned in this video will be in the description box as well. Okay, so thus far I actually cleansed in the shower already. When it comes to cleansing on Tret, I haven't had a lot of issues in the last few months. If you don't follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you may not have seen the first month of Tretinoin was rough. I was peely, I was irritated. It was definitely a rough journey. This last month and a half has been a lot more smooth sailing, a lot less irritation. And so when it comes to getting back into skincare, I can cleanse normally now. I'm actually incorporating more actives in my routine again. So when it comes to a cleanse, I keep it simple, a very nice quick oil cleanse just to break everything down. I don't wear makeup as much anymore, but I still like to oil cleanse the first part of my nighttime routine, just a standard run-of-the-mill oil cleanser. And then when it comes to my second cleanse, I just use whatever cleanser makes me feel good. Fenty, Sunbum, Ole Henriksen have been some of my favorite cleansers thus far. I did a recent TikTok talking about some of my favorite sensory cleansers, and those are the ones. So I always start my nighttime routine very general, just a good cleanse, something simple, nothing too crazy. And then after that, here I am. I have nothing on my face thus far, and you can see this is a mini update. I will say breakouts highly minimized. There was a lot of comments on social media because my skin was going through it. But when you start on retinoids for the first month or so, your skin definitely has to adjust. I haven't been on Tret in, I would say, about 3 years. I've been using retinol, but encapsulated formulas for those, so it's a lot more gentle and it's a lot more forgiving. Tret, not as forgiving. And so my skin was going through it, but I'm very happy with where my skin is right now. I'm up to using Tretinoin, I would say about 5 nights a week. So I'm very happy with that as well. Another update is that my pigmentation, very reduced, which I'm also very happy with, because that's the thing when it comes to the retinization process and the purging. I was getting pretty bad breakouts. I was getting pretty bad PIH, PIE, and that is now greatly reduced. So this is where we are with skin, nothing on my face thus far. After cleansing, what I've done with Tret and what's been very important in my routine is really layering hydration. So I've kind of reverted back to like that 9-step Korean skincare routine to some degree, in that I'm using a few layers of different hydrators and just really just stacking up the hydration and then really working on locking that in, but a big focus on soothing ingredients to help bring down some of the irritation and the redness. So first things first, I'm going to go in with the Beauty of Joseon Ginseng Essence Water, something lightweight, something thin, something I could layer up a few times. That's not going to be a heavy layer. So taking a few drops of that, pressing it in, and repeat. This really takes me back to when I was first getting on Tret. This was like 2015. This was like right before I started working at Sephora / when I started working, and Korean skincare was like the thing. The Sun & Park Beauty Water was huge. I just got into like the Cosrx, Snow Mousse, and Essence, and I was just layering those up because I had just gotten on Tret and my skin was going through it. But this kind of brings me back to that point in my life, and it's very full circle that we're back here now, but I'm doing this on social media. A lot of fun. I'm going to be going in now with another toner I really enjoy, specifically for when my skin's really irritated. This is from Barr. It's their Centella Calming Ampoule Toner, and as the name suggests, it has Centella in it, and this is a juicy toner. This is the Klairs Supple Preparation Toner if it had a Centella-rich twin, in my opinion. And in similar fashion, we're taking a few drops. We are pressing that in. And as with all skincare, bring it down your neck, bring it down to your titties, to your nipples, especially when it comes to your retinoids, your sunscreen, your hydrators, your moisturizer, your antioxidants, everything. You want all this to look juicy and supple for as long as possible. Okay, so that's toners, that's essences. is. That's some light hydration. Let's get into a little bit of the richer hydration. These are more of the serums, and this is where I've really been indulging myself and exploring new options. One that's not so new, that's a product I've been purchasing for the last, I don't know, 5 years, repurchasing myself regularly, from Purito. This is their Centella Green Level Buffet Serum. This to me is just like a very hydrating gel serum that has Centella in it. As with all Purito products, I always prefer the scented versions. They always just do it for me. The unscented version feels great on the skin, but the smell of this, that like bergamot-y, like Earl Grey with a little bit of lavender kick to it, it just does it for me. And that's what I love about Purito scented products. With this, I'm generous with it because it's affordable, and even with going so generous, the product lasts me a long time. You can do a couple layers of that if you want, but I have a couple other options to share with you. One, if you are US based and you want to shop at Target, Ulta, from Sunbum, this is their hydrating serum. This is a little bit more of a richer gel version of the Purito one I just used. This has niacinamide, it has brown algae, and it has banana extracts in it. So antioxidants, moisture supporting, very hydrating. This one, again, it's more of a serum texture, but it's just a little bit of a richer gel. Fragrance-free, alcohol-free. In the nights that I have a little bit more irritation, more peeling, especially around this area, I'm like really sensitive here when the irritation really kicks in. Has been really nice to have because I can use the niacinamide and I get the kick of the hydration and everything, but it doesn't burn me, it doesn't irritate me in this area. And a couple pumps goes a really long way. And again, it's a drugstore product, so you can get it at Target and Ulta. If you want to shop Stylevana, Korean skincare is more your style. This from Abib was a surprising product for me to enjoy. This is their Okjuk Essence. This is actually niacinamide free, fragrance free, alcohol free. And this is, again, just a richer hydrating serum texture. If you have very dry skin or your skin's very dry as a result of retinoid use, this is one I really recommend trying. I've been really liking this and really layering it up now that we're transitioning into winter here in Germany. It's very similar to the Sunbum one. I would say maybe it's a little bit richer, but it has some nice nourishing oils in it, some really nice hydration in there, and then whatever Okjuk is. I'm not entirely sure what Okjuk is, but there's a couple of botanical extracts in there intended to help, again, soothe the skin, but more so condition the skin. With all these layers of hydration and moisture that I introduced underneath my retinoids, my Tretinoin, basically what that's doing is acting as a buffer. It's more layers underneath the retinoid to help reduce the irritation and thus kind of minimize the irritating or peeling effects generally associated with retinoids, especially Tretinoin, so that you can use your retinoids to your pleasure without having to suffer. But just look at how juicy and supple my skin is. Loving that. We're hydrated. We've done a few layers of hydration, really introduced those serums, toners, and essences. Now I start to lock it in and really build those barriers of more emollients and occlusives. One product that I've been using now for 3-4 years now, love having this in my routine, especially when I'm having a retinoid issue, is from Krave, the Krave Barrier Relief. This is technically a serum, but it really straddles that line between being a really rich serum and a very light moisturizing product. It has nice emollient oils that act as lightweight occlusives. It has some ingredients to help hydrate, but more so it's the soothing components of this. So in this you have tamanu oil, which is an oil that is nicely soothing to the skin. You have niacinamide, you have some ceramide, some natural moisturizing factors in this. This is a really good product to introduce into your routine if you're working on restoring your barrier, you have a compromised barrier. It just helps to really support skin moisturization while also helping to soothe the skin. To me, it just goes hand in hand with a very soothing routine. It is technically a serum, I will say that. It doesn't have very, very high occlusion in it, meaning it doesn't like work to heavily lock in moisture, but it does have the ability, especially if you have more oily skin like I do, to satisfy that role. And with all these hydrating products, I love bringing them on my lips because they help to hydrate my lips and it forms a nice base for me to put something like a gloss or a balm on top of. This also has oats in it and that oats kind of carries through in that smell. So if you like oat, it's also a product worth trying. Okay, so in your routine, you've layered up your hydrators, your serums a little bit, definitely built up the hydration. We're now starting to lock that in. Let's get into the moisturizer step right now. And something that's really interesting is I have oily skin normally, so I prefer lighter texture moisturizers. At night, I will definitely experiment and I love a rich occlusive, but on Tret, I have been really layering up my moisturizers. I've really needed to rely on that because at night, my skin is so dry and in the daytime, it feels really, really tight. So my strategy when it comes to nighttime moisturizing is I'll use a little bit more of a lightweight gel-based moisturizer as my initial layer after my hydrators, and then I'll lock it in with a richer balm or like a night mask, if you will. So for that first first layer of moisturization, a couple I've been really enjoying. Number one is new from Stratia. It's their Interface. Basically, this is a firming and repairing peptide cream. Peptides, I always talk about peptides on my channel as being something I'm not 100% sure about. With peptides, the delivery system is very important to really get collagen boosting or whatever other benefits peptides generally promise. But one thing peptides will always do, no matter the vehicle, is hydrate. And so this is where this has become really, really nice. If you have tried Stratia's Night Shift, their like oily skin night cream, and found that to be a little bit too rich, this is something worth checking out in my opinion. It's more lightweight. It's a little bit more of an actual true gel cream moisturizer. On the ingredients list, obviously you have glycerin, you have panthenol, you have rosehip oil, you have a few different peptides. You have like a shroot extract, allantoin. You can see I pump it. You get little baby pumps. That's something worth noting. But it's really just a lightweight gel cream and it just sits so nicely on the skin. So if you're looking for a new daytime moisturizer, this is definitely a nice option. It's more lightweight than liquid gold in my opinion. Another option if you're looking for a more hydrating gel cream moisturizer from Jordan Samuel, this is the Performance Cream. And again, niacinamide free. This is a little bit more of a rich gel cream texture, but this features some really rich humectants. You have green tea extract, you have glycerin. You also have a couple peptides up in this. You have sodium hyaluronate, so a few different molecular weights of hyaluronic acid, chamomile extract, so also a little bit soothing as well. You can see that one is once again just a little bit of a more rich gel cream, but this just melts right in. Hardly a lotion in my opinion. You don't have to layer your gel moisturizer. I'm just showing you a couple different options. I usually just do one layer of the gel moisturizer and then one layer of a richer moisturizer on top of that. But you can see with that, at this point I've layered how many toners and serums and moisturizers? My skin is glowy, but it's hardly greasy. It's giving a natural finish. It's giving comfortable, lightweight still. Is my skin very dry right now? Yes, but besides the point. Now let's get on to a richer moisturizer. And this is what's really gonna lock it in. It's really going to be that barrier, really seal that barrier underneath your Tretinoin. I've mentioned this on my channel before. One I've really been enjoying is from Ole Henriksen, the Strength Trainer Peptide Boost Moisturizer. Again, this is chock full of peptides, which as I mentioned, great humectants. On top of that, you have a lot of natural moisturizing factors up in this. You have a lot of things like ceramides, cholesterols, fatty acids, which are going to mimic the natural components of the skin moisture barrier. So once again, it's really helping to support the skin moisture barrier. And what's interesting about this one is that in the jar, the product looks like a balm, but then once you warm it up, it like becomes very thin, kind of in the same way where a balm cleanser is a balm in the tube, but then you warm it up and it becomes a little bit more of like a light oil texture. Same with this, it becomes a light gel cream texture. Also what I love is that it smells like a sorbet, like when you go to the gelato shop and get like a mango sorbet. That's what it smells like to me. So it's simultaneously very rich and very lightweight at the same time. And as you can see, I've made quite a dent in that one. It's been really coming through the last 2-3 months. This one does have niacinamide though, so do definitely note that. If you want to go the eye cream route, definitely recommend. That would be something I would do after my serums before I start layering moisturizers. Just a simple to the point eye cream. In front of me, I have the Bum Eye Cream. Purito also has their Centella barrier one I also really like. Those are to the point. They focus more on like niacinamide, peptides, so you're getting moisture support, but they don't have actives like vitamin C or retinoids, which could potentially sensitize that under eye area. You really just want to layer extra moisture and moisturizer occlusives in certain areas you want to reduce irritation the most. In a lot of cases, that is the under eye area, especially the corners of the eye, around the corners of the nose, and the corners of the mouth. If you want to avoid a rich moisturizer at the end, you want something very simple to the point, Vaseline. Good old petroleum jelly is a great option. That is specifically a straight occlusive. So it's going to be a product that forms a film over your hydrators to really lock in the hydration. And it's also a really good barrier for putting things on top of. It'll just reduce the irritation of your tretinoin, your retinoids a lot more. So you could do your serums, your hydrators, and then lock it all in with Vaseline if you want to. Just avoid all the extra steps and go very budget friendly. But now here we are at the end. Let's talk about Tret. So as I mentioned, everything I've done before this point is essentially a barrier to prevent the irritation, peeling, redness associated with retinoids. I'm on Tret. Specifically, I got my Tretinoin from Dermatica, and I'm very grateful for a service like Dermatica. Being based in Germany right now, I am insured, and Germany technically has socialized healthcare, but everything I've heard has been that going to the doctor here in Germany is very difficult, and I've been very interested in getting back on Tret for a long time. Last time I used Tret was like 2019, so it's been a minute, but I've been really interested, especially because at this point, like my skin was in a good spot, but I wanted a little bit better. Tret is the gold standard, right? So Dermatica reached out to me and I was like, yes, we're gonna try this out. I've heard great things. I went on, did the questionnaire, and what's really useful is that they ask, what have you tried prior and what are you actively using right now, so that they can base the treatment that they prescribe you based off the professional dermatologist's opinion to best suit your skin needs and skin goals. And so what I got was a prescription specifically with 0.025 tretinoin, niacinamide 4%, and clindamycin 1%. Tret, we know that is direct retinoic acid. That's what's going to help promote skin cell turnover, really give you those benefits that we love in retinoids. Niacinamide is a great ingredient to help reduce redness, irritation. Acne is a very multifaceted skin condition that is caused by a lot of different elements kind of coming together in one. And one of those is the inflammatory response associated with acne. Niacinamide is an ingredient that can help bring down that redness and kind of soothe the skin to help kind of bring down the comedones we normally associate with acne. And then clindamycin is an antibacterial, and acne is caused by bacteria. So all those together in one product is very convenient for me. This is not for the weak. This is not for the faint of heart. Even with as low of a percentage of tretinoin in this, I definitely was seeing a lot of peeling, was seeing a lot of irritation. So I really had to relearn how to use retinoids again, because prior to this, I would just slap on a retinoid and call it a day. So that's why this routine, as intensive as it is, has been very, very useful and helpful to me. So after all this is done and all these products have been slathered on my face, we can go on with our Tret. As with all tretinoin prescriptions, you really only need about a pea-size amount. I remember Dr. Sam Bunting, a fellow content creator, and she has her own brand, talks about her dot method, which I find is really helpful with something like Tret. You just dot this around. I take a little bit extra for my neck because why not? And then you can just work that in. At this point, I don't worry about irritation around my eye area. Again, I've layered so many products, but also I've built up the tolerance now. I would also recommend, if you're going to do this approach of layering all these products underneath, after you put on your last moisturizer step, let your skin settle for a little bit. I kept mentioning my skin wasn't heavy and greasy. The moisturizer really sets down quickly. After about 5 to 10 minutes of having that on, I'm in a good spot to put my Tret on. If you want to avoid irritation with your tretinoid, you want to avoid putting it on wet or damp skin, just because damp skin aids in absorption, which with something like tretinoid will then enhance irritation. Let your skincare set first. So a good 5 to 10 minutes works for me. And that's really it. I am actually really happy with where my skin is right now after, I would say, 8 to 10 weeks. I actually lost count of when I started Tret. But as I mentioned earlier, breakouts minimize substantially. There's no texture or breakouts on my skin. This cheek, smooth, no breakouts. This cheek, I have a little bit of PIE and PIH. I think some of this is like ingrowns though from shaving. And my neck, I get very sensitive here on my neck and chest. No redness, no irritation from my prescription at all either. So I've been really, really happy with that. And what I like about Dramatica is that they give you one of these basically every month. So if you were to use this every day throughout the week, which ideally with any retinoid, you're really building up your tolerance to be able to use your retinoid as often as you can, every day of the week if possible. You are getting a very constant supply of this throughout your subscription. With my code, as I mentioned, it's gonna be down in the description box, definitely a steal. I have that code on screen as well if you wanna use that. But this has been really, really helpful for me to kind of get back on Tret. Having it at a lower percentage, it took me a while to adjust to it, but at this point now, I'm only 2.5 months in. I can incorporate other actives into my routine. I'm not seeing the irritation, I'm not seeing the sensitivity, and so I'm seeing a lot more of the skin results that I want to see now that I finally acclimated and I've adjusted. What's really cool is with Dramatica, you take before photos as they're trying to analyze your skin, see what they recommend to you. So seeing the progress that I've made over the last 2 months has been really cool, kind of reminding yourself where you started, where you are. That journey is very important. That's why I can say I'm actually very happy with where I'm at 2.5 months later, because the befores has been a journey. And so with that, that is my nighttime tretinoin routine. I, in the same routine, don't normally use other actives. I'll usually wait till the next day. Right now I'm at the point where I'm using my tretinoin, I'd say 5 days a week. And those other 2 days, it's more of just like either other treatment days, or I'm really just working on like nourishing, healing my skin, giving it a break. But I've noticed, again, irritation is substantially reduced. I can tolerate a lot more other actives. My skin is kind of getting back to normal, and my breakouts, texture, pigmentation, substantially reduced. As the last step on my routine, and I started layering hydration there in the first place, I need to lock that all in. And my lips with the lip balm. So in true hot girl fashion, I'm gonna be taking a lip gloss. This is from Fenty, just because why can't you go to sleep with the lip gloss on? And that is my nighttime tretinoin routine. Let me know down below in the comments section, do you use any of these products before tretinoin? What are some of your tips for using tretinoin at night that helps you reduce the irritation and peeling? And what other retinoid questions do you have? makeup or content do you want to see on my channel? I had a lot of great questions after my last one, and I also get a lot of great comments on my Instagram and TikTok videos around Tretinoin, and it really helps me figure out what kind of content to make for YouTube. So send that below in the comments section. Huge thank you to Dramatica for partnering with me once again for this video. If you're looking to try the Dramatica subscription, the link and discount code is going to be down in my description box as always, as well as all the other links for the products I mentioned in this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you know when I post more skincare, sunscreen, and Fenty related content on my channel. Give the video a thumbs up, and thanks for watching, guys. Good night.